From the heart of college football country, it's College Football Saturdays. Brought to you by Bluff City Media and powered by the good folks at Grind City Brewing. So crack open a cold one, get your tailgate ready, and join us as we dive into the biggest stories in college football.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a windy College Football Saturday here at Grind City Brewing, and what a season it has been so far. We've seen championship dreams fall by an undeveloping Arch Manning, an ill-prepared Nittany Lion, and a generational talent with generational struggles in Gainesville. What we thought we knew, Texas is back. Florida State crushed Alabama's dynasty once and for all. Penn State's best team ever, and Indiana's being fake tough, has been quickly replaced by Simpson for Heisman, oil money in Lubbock, and a Caribbean island nation taking over Oxford, Mississippi. Legacies have been defined already. James Franklin, out. Matt Rule, James Franklin West. Kurt Signetti found 11.5 million reasons to stay in Bloomington, Indiana. And Billy Napier is coaching as a lame duck. But tonight, new ones can be written. Can Lane Kiffin finally get over the hump, beating Georgia, and launch Ole Miss firmly into the national championship conversation? Who will play spoiler in Tuscaloosa as both teams look to keep playoff dreams alive? And is Lincoln Riley finally ready for the big stage? Already on Friday night, the spookiest season of all is ACC Friday nights in October. We saw Miami drop to big game Braun, who moved to 5-0 against AP top 10 teams. I hope you took the over in LSU and Vandy, and there's nowhere else you'd rather watch than right here at Grind City Brewing. I got my guy Drew Gann and Jared Davidson hanging with me today. What's up, fellas? How we doing?
What's going on, Rusty? Listen, the monologue, solid monologue. I do have points to make. I'm sure we'll get to all
of them.
I'm sure we will get to all of them.
Absolutely.
So it is a beautiful day here. It is windy, but back in June, July, and August, I would beg for wind, just to break up the heat a little bit. And we've got it today. So if you hear a little action on our microphone, it is not wind. It's just the vast amount of applause that we are getting right now.
That's what it is. I once sat on the stage and sweated my tail off between Gabe Kuhn and Drew Gann. And so, swat my tail off. So I'm grateful for a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of breeze. And Jared Davidson, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm good. It has been a great week, a beautiful day besides the wind. But, hey, we're going to take what we can get in October and what is secondary weather, tornado weather season. We are here, man. Stop it.
It's Cocktober. It's Oktoberfest. It is the best time of the year. And we're at the best spot for college football. As you can see, the wind is blowing all around us. We got the pyramid behind us. We got a food truck here at Grind City Brewing. We got cold beer on tap. We're going to be hanging out here getting you ready for the afternoon and evening games. And on the other side of this commercial break, we got plenty to talk about. Coaching changes, a big night in the ACC on Friday night. So y'all hang with us as we get ready to talk college football here at Grind City Brewing.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
Did you know Jake LaRavia, our old friend Jake LaRavia, threw out the first pitch at a Dodgers game? Boy, how times have changed for Jake LaRavia. He threw a pitch out at a Redbirds game once, and then didn't get any playing time, and then was just shipped off to Sacramento. Now he's playing for the Lakers and throwing out the first pitch at Chavez Ravine. Are you serious?
And he was the first call that they made.
Yes.
When free agency came about. How about that?
My goodness.
I told you that Jake. I told you Jake was going to be a player in this game.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Also, I need to say this to Arkansas fans. Please don't advocate for Bobby Petrino to get that job back. Have some damn self-respect.
They already are.
Respect for yourself, brother. Please. I've read so many reports. I've talked to some people behind the scenes, and it's a real thing.
It is.
It's very.
It has
possible.
momentum.
Look outside. Look outside before you even think about hiring Bobby Petrino. But I'm scared they're just gonna hop right back into the after. A decade ago, this guy was making a mockery.
Yeah,
mockery of your program. I just think you need to have a little more self-respect than that. But hey, winning cures all. To be honest, so.
Especially when you got a coach that's just a short drive down I-40 that you can come calling on. But I'll leave that alone. There's too much momentum. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's too much momentum for Bobby Petrino to get that job. And there's rumors of 25-30 mil in the NIL fund. The coffers are going to cough up to make this Arkansas team good again. I guess we'll see.
Tune into the 2 Buck Sports Show with Rusty Whitten and Drew Gann, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to College Football Saturdays right here at Grind City Brewing. I got my guy Drew Gann. I got Jared Davidson. We got Kenny Stubblefield on production. We got King Meeks here, man. It's a great time here at Grind City Brewing. So if you're at Cooper Young Beer Fest or hanging out anywhere other than here, get your tail to Grind City Brewing because this is your home for College Football Saturdays. And speaking of home in college football, one James Franklin no longer has a home in State College, Pennsylvania, as he was let go at the end of last week after a abysmal loss to a Northwestern team, and they were paying him $49 million to no longer coach said Penn State football team.
There should be a different word than fired. Fired is too aggressive. Fired implies you were being punished, or
he's been promoted to fan.
I think he has been promoted to the richest fan of college football. I mean, a $50 million buyout. Like, you weren't fired. I mean, you were given the opportunity to stay at home and make $50 million.
And the only clause, Jared, is that he has to look for a job. And if I'm him, I'm opening LinkedIn once a day. And I'm saying, no jobs that suit my fancy. I have looked for a job, and then I'm going to go play golf.
Yeah, I will go interview for wherever, but I'm like, hey, politely, I have to do this to collect my $49 million check, but I appreciate the reach out. Politely, no, I'm going to go sit on the lake.
Those interviews would look like the interviews in Step Brothers, where he just it's almost like he's purposefully tanking himself and his own candidacy for these jobs. Listen, he was on College Game Day this morning. I watched a little bit of it. I don't know if you did.
I did.
He has always come across as a super nice, super knowledgeable, super personable person, which I believe you have to be a successful college football coach, given the fact that you had to kind of at least cut your teeth with recruiting high school players. And he comes across so well on TV. Selfishly, I wouldn't mind seeing him on TV, but there is no way. And you have got to be a much bigger person than me to be offered $50 million to stay at home and then choose to work.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher is getting almost $80 million to not coach football, and all he's doing is sitting on his yacht somewhere in the Caribbean. I think we're going to see, Coach O has the famous quote, right? Yep. Like, you tell me what time you want me gone and which door you want me out, brother.
When you want me gone, what door you want me to leave out of?
But his name is being linked to Oregon State as a potential head coach out there, which I think would be iconic.
That would be
iconic.
Can you imagine a bigger, like, it's oil and water?
Absolutely.
Oregon, the state of Oregon, bringing in Ed Ogeron.
They have never heard an accent like spin a walk through that door. And I spent time in Oregon when I was in college, and they've yet to hear like anything remotely close to Coach O heading out that way. But
the only thing worse than Coach O going to Oregon State would be him going to a Harvard or a Yale to coach football.
Imagine Coach O sitting at a press conference preseason, and they ask him about the protests going on in Portland. It would just be the absolute. His
brain would default to when he was in Oxford, and he'd be like, "Coach O, drive a Hummer. You need to drive a Hummer."
Tell him about it, JoJo.
But speaking of guys who have found a job, Kurt Cignetti apparently loves Bloomington, Indiana enough that they are going to pay him $11.5 million to stay there. Jared, I don't know about you, but it would take $11.5 million for me to live in Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a desperate, reach out to Kurt Cignetti. You don't want your coach to leave, especially for one of these bigger jobs that have opened up and that may open up in the future, considering how this domino effect of coaching carousel may go. And Kurt Cignetti, props to him. He got his money. But I'm going to imagine he still looks at a few places maybe once the offseason comes around.
That's it. I would coach the football team in North Korea for $10, $11 million a year. I don't know what y'all are talking about. You do not have to convince me to come and stay in Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah.
That is fly over state. That is my speed. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
That's Drew Gaines, James Franco in the interview right now.
Absolutely.
I would do anything for about $11 million.
You basically root for North Korea by rooting for Ole Miss, but we're going to leave that alone for a little while. We'll get to Ole Miss here in a minute.
Oh, God.
But
That's Rusty's speed. We're just going to throw the jab, and then we're going to
we'll
move
keep
on.
moving right on. That's what happens when you drive the show, right? But
We'll
I think
see.
Kurt Signetti getting $11.5 million is a fear-based move because he was 100% going to get interviewed by Penn State, Florida, LSU. I do think I got a sneaky feeling that Brian Kelly is going to be looking for another job. He is. I have zero intel on this because I'm not that connected, but I have a gut feeling that like Penn State feels like a job for Brian Kelly to get him out of LSU because it just hadn't gone super well there. But I think that Kurt Signetti was going to interview for all these big jobs coming open, looking to get to the SEC. And Indiana said, yeah, that's fine, but you're going to owe us a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
That's where y'all are wrong about this. This is not a fear-based move. This is smart.
Oh, it's
If
smart.
Cam-
Oh, it is reactionary fear-based, but it's smart.
From Indiana's point of view, it is smart because what you've done is you've insulated yourself to the tune of $95 million if Florida comes to call. Because what you've got to do is the coach does not forfeit that money.
No.
The coach does not pay that money when he leaves. The university that accepts him as their coach pays that money. You have insulated yourself and given yourself a nest egg.
Mhm.
It's genius. Now, what the downside of this is in this age of college football in which you have no depth anymore because all of your backups leave to go take starter jobs at your competitors, you have no depth. And so you are only one season away from being bad. What Indiana, I hope, does is what Auburn is not doing, what Penn State obviously did not do. But you have got to accept the fact, and in this day of age in college football, there are going to be dead seasons. You only have one quarterback on your roster. The best teams only have one quarterback on their roster. And if that quarterback gets hurt, it's over. And you've got a dead season, and that's got to be baked into the expectations for the 5-year plan. And so Penn State was not willing to live with a dead season this year, and they're paying James Franklin $50 million.
Yeah, and I'm to the point where I'm looking at it further and further now. James Franklin went to the Final Four in college football. He went to the Rose Bowl and Fiesta Bowl. Like you said, one bad season because Drew Aller got hurt. Now, granted, weren't winning those games
Drew Aller
anyways.
sucked
He's
to
been
start with.
He's been terrible. But anyways, like you got to give him I feel like you got to be content with one down season, especially when your starting quarterback goes hurt.
And that's fine. But I think what really sunk the James Franklin ship is where most coaches, and James Franklin and Hugh Freeze both did this year. Instead of saying, because there was a ton of preseason expectations about Penn State and Auburn, but we'll focus on James Franklin for a minute. Instead of saying, oh yeah, we got to see what kind of football team we got, Drew Aller's come back, whatever. He said on live TV, he said, this is the best team we've ever had, the best coaching staff we've ever had. So he set the expectations, and instead of downplaying those a little bit, he balled in, leaned heavily into it, which I don't hate calling your shot, but then when you lose back-to-back weeks to UCLA and Northwestern, that's going to age like milk in the sun.
It's snowballed. It's snowballed.
Yeah, it's snowballed very
It's
badly.
snowballed for sure, but James Franklin, the recipe was there. And what's he supposed to do? Say, you know what? Well, I think we'll be all right. And set the bar low. Everybody thought he was going to have a good year. He should have had a good year. You've got a returning quarterback for 3 years. And it didn't work out. And then it snowballed. And then they overreacted.
They overreacted. They overreached. And now they've got a guy who is consistently winning 9 games. Yes, he was not beating the Ohio State. 9 to 10 games if you count the bowl game. But, he couldn't win the big game. That's fine. But you're winning 9 games a year. Unless you hit an absolute home run, and those are really hard to see in college football.
Because they don't swing a bat.
Oh, gosh.
Very few home run hits in the coaching search. You fire the guy and you think the next guy's going to be great. This success is just easily duplicated, and it's just not. And there's times where you're now, whatever dead time you didn't bake in a James Franklin contract, you're going to have to bake in for finding a new coach, which Indiana's not going to have to do. Once again, kind of bringing it back. As King Meeks, who is here, said, it's hard to believe that we're talking about Indiana football in 2025.
Yes. Yeah.
But we are, because Kurt Cignetti is going out, and him and Lane Kiffin are doing a master class job of working the transfer portal, getting guys in. I know I gave a compliment to Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin.
Check Drew's pulse. Okay.
As he falls out of the
It's
chair.
a big one, Elizabeth.
But Kurt Cignetti has done a master class of working the transfer portal and getting guys in that can be a perfect system quarterback. Mendoza has been incredible for him in Indiana. That defense is full of studs, Jared. And I think that like that's what's been so good about Kurt Cignetti is he has embraced the new college football, and it's working for him in Indiana.
Yeah, it is. And he's living up to his statement of, hey, Google me, I win. And I think he kind of felt the flack from last year of being what you like to call fake tough earlier this year and not winning the big games. And, hey, he went into Oregon and knocked off Oregon. And we're going to talk about Indiana here soon. But he's putting his money where his mouth is now, literally, and just building up behind what he's been able to. Like you said, Mendoza's been the perfect system quarterback. This defense has played very well this season. They look, I'm going to barf saying this, they look like the real deal for once.
I know. It's wild that Indiana is that. But we do have some real football.
You know what? What's the last thing I want to say about this? And coming as a middle-of-the-road SEC team, Rusty, you're a fan of a middle-of-the-road SEC team, as are you, Jared.
I'm in the basement.
Drew is too, don't worry.
You're right. I was thinking historically, but historically you suck.
Yeah.
There is true value in watching football every day knowing you're going to be competitive. And that's what the top tier lose. Penn State lost the notion that going out there every time and winning 10 out of 12 games has tangible value.
And there's nothing wrong with those losses being Ohio State, who's one of the best teams.
I know once you get there, you want to break through, and expectations change. I get that, and I'm sympathetic to that. And one day I hope Ole Miss is in the situation to where I can look and say, I expect Ole Miss to compete for a national championship. However, we know personally, intimately, what it feels like to not even have a team out there that can compete.
Brother.
And also, like,
do we ever?
And Drew, you go to that point too. I think they were really close to breaking over that big game hump. It was a 2 overtime loss to Oregon.
It takes time, man. It takes time and experience to win those games. And so
that's it. But speaking of time and experience, there was a game on Friday night that completely altered the ACC's trajectory. I think it just shows that the ACC is a bit more wide open than we thought. I've been big on Miami. I'm not out on Miami. I still think that they can run the table, win the ACC with one loss to a good Louisville team. You're still in the ACC championship. You're still in the college football playoffs. But again, like I said in the monologue, the opening monologue, like, there's nothing spookier in October than a Friday night in the ACC. The Cocktober has been proven by ChatGPT, but you've got Miami losing at Louisville last night in a game that we didn't think was going to have.
Lost in Miami.
That's right. I'm sorry. It was in Miami. You lost at home against a Louisville team who is good now, 5-1 on the season, same record as Miami. But it's time we have a conversation, and we've been having this conversation, I know, on the $2 Sports Show about Jeff Braun and like the job he is doing in. It's a Braun, tomatoes. But it's the job he is doing in Louisville, having them competitive, winning 8-9 games again every year. And then you go off and knock off a Miami team last night in a game where Carson Beck sleptwalked through it. And Louisville just out-physicaled Miami, who has been probably the most physical team in the country so far.
Carson Beck didn't just sleepwalk. He was blackout drunk. He threw 4 interceptions.
Listen, I have a soft spot for quarterbacks that are gunslingers, and sometimes in a game in which you are struggling, you end up with 4 interceptions because you're going for it. Carson Beck this season has I've talked nonstop about on the $2 Sports Show about how we're making Mike Elko pay for the sins of Jimbo Fisher.
Sure.
I think Carson Beck's a different player this year than he was at Georgia, who couldn't win the big game. But you go and throw 4 interceptions in a game that was ugly, and no doubt about it. It was ugly, and it was a low-scoring game, and you made critical errors. Thank you, Vanna White.
Oh, geez.
And
you get what you pay for. You
Wrong check.
you just I'm not going to hold Carson Beck solely responsible for it. Jeff Braun, I'm a huge fan of. Back when Ole Miss was in the interim season of Matt Luke, I was a big fan of going to Western Kentucky, to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and hiring Jeff Braun. He kind of took a detour around and landed at Louisville. He's been really good there.
And I agree. You can't put the soul of the blame on Carson Beck. Miami last night ran the ball for 2.6 yards per carry, 24 attempts for 63 yards. It's not going to win you a game anywhere.
That's LSU numbers.
It was just an ugly, ugly football game.
That's Mike Leach, Mississippi State numbers.
That's it. You're not wrong because we did not run the football.
No,
game
y'all
with Mike
didn't.
Leach. But on the opposite side of that coin, we do have a barn burner in Nashville. Like for the first time since the year of our Lord, 1978, Vanderbilt was favored in an SEC conference game, and all they're doing is leading LSU 31-24 with 11 and a half minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
With the ball.
LSU just turned it over inside Vanderbilt. They had the ball 4th and goal at the Vanderbilt 6, and Vandy just took the ball over.
They kicked the field goal.
Oh, they did. Yeah, I guess that's right. 31-24 because it was a 10-point game. But Vanderbilt is playing big boy football in a conference where they have not really belonged in a long time. And a lot of that is on Diego Pavia, who has a 21-yard touchdown run already, a big touchdown pass earlier in the game. And it just doesn't look like Garrett Nussmeier is healthy once again.
Yeah, you just kind of – Garrett Nussmeier is one of those things. I think what I've realized about Nussmeier is he's going to be the gunslinger type that's going to throw a few picks in a game. That just it's kind of baked into the equation. It's baked into the calculus. However, his arm strength isn't making up for it at this point. Mm-hmm. What they said on the broadcast, I was listening to the broadcast this morning for the Vanderbilt LSU game, and what Jesse Palmer was saying, I kind of agree with. You don't look at Diego Pavia and say, that guy has the measurables, the arm talent, the skill to single-handedly win a game. But what he does is like a Mike Conley role. If you want to take this to Memphis, he makes everybody better, and it is the mindset that they didn't say he makes everybody better, but he said he makes everyone believe that they are better. That whatever situation, whoever they're going for, you're going to have confidence because he's going to put that batter in your back, and he's going to instill that confidence in you.
Yeah.
And you look at it, yes, Nussmeier might not be healthy. He's not playing a terrible game right now, 17 of 25, 2 passing touchdowns, 223 yards. But back to Drew's point of Diego Pavia, man, he is, like you said, he may not have the intangibles that you look at in a regular college quarterback, but he's a winner. He's a winner.
Tough.
He's a winner. He's tough.
A gamer.
He's 12 of 19 right now, 148 yards, 1 touchdown, and he also has 12 rushes for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Other update scores before we take a break, and then we preview the upcoming games. We have some big games in the evening and afternoon, but Georgia Tech is up 13-10 on Duke early in the fourth quarter. Duke has the football at their own 25. We've got Michigan.
You know, Zach Kleiman is tuned into that
He's locked into that game. Michigan's up 21-7. They just scored again. They're up 21-7 on Washington. But on the other side of the commercial break, we've got some games that have playoff implication, SEC implication, and rivalry games to talk about.
And also Mississippi State.
So stick with us after the commercial break, and we'll preview the upcoming games.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
You can take 2 stances, but you have to take one. You can say preseason doesn't matter. Okay, sleep well at night knowing that, convincing yourself of that if that's your belief. If preseason matters even a little bit, then there is something that we've gotten blown out 4 times. I don't know how you can just sit back and just be like, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters a ton. But there's people over here being like, just calm down, we're fine, and they may be right. But all we have to look at is the 4 games of the new coach this season and the new roster. And buddy, Charlotte dropped 150 on us. You do look at this and draw things from it about how you're going to play in the regular season.
Yeah,
these guys are our team. You know, this is the guys that we work with. Front court depth is a problem.
Tune in to The Daily Grind with your host, Luke Hatmaker, every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I'm telling y'all, I told y'all that there are things about Ja that seem different. They look different. The way he's moving is different. He's moving more so in a way that's showing maturity on and off the court, doing these type of events, giving back to the community. Well, not a lot of fanfare, but it was an awesome event. It's so dope that they were able to, he was able to do that event for those kids. Ja basically said that y'all tweaking out here. Shout out to Ja being all of us right now, man, and telling people that they are tweaking. A lot of conversation, a lot of negativity around Ja and this ankle thing for an injury that you have not seen him in a boot. You have not seen any. I don't think you've seen any official report from Grizzlies PR, which leads me to think that Ja will be fine over the night. I thought that when I first heard the news. I was not really concerned about that. And hearing Ja say, y'all don't need to be concerned about that either. It's one of those things.
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to College Football Saturdays at your home for college football this fall. Grind City Brewing. I got my guy Drew Gann. I'm Rusty Witten, and this is Jared Davidson talking all things college football. We've previewed the game, or we've recapped the games that have happened and they're currently going on, but we've got some massive games coming up. And so, Jared, I'll start with you because I know this knucklehead's going to ramble on and on and on. But Ole Miss travels to Athens and plays Georgia in a massive SEC game.
Yeah, these teams are 1-1 the last 2 years, each winning a home game. Georgia had the blowout. Ole Miss had the upset last year.
28-10.
Yeah, 28-10. It wasn't a blowout, but it was still a good win.
No, that was
They
a blowout.
stuffed them in a lot.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a blowout.
Defensively.
Yeah, okay. Trinidad Chambliss leads the SEC in passing yards per completion, and he is completing 65% of his passes. That man has stepped up, put himself on a very, very, very back-end slot of like Heisman conversation. But what Trinidad Chambliss has been able to do since taking over, everyone thought Ole Miss may have taken a step back. What he has been able to do has been really fun to watch. I really love Ole Miss in this game. I think the big thing is Georgia's offensive line. Can their injuries be looked past, and can Ole Miss get some pressure in the backfield?
What makes me nervous in this game for Georgia is their inability to get pressure on the quarterback.
Yep.
If you give anybody time, they're going to be able to pick you apart. And I like Gunnar Stockton. He's been good for him this year. I think that he can help kind of stretch the field with a lack of a running game. But to me, it's going to come down to one thing. Can Georgia generate any pressure against the Ole Miss offensive line to get Trinidad or Austin Simmons or whoever's back there, probably Trinidad Chambliss,
It's Chambliss.
out of rhythm and uncomfortable? Because Georgia, for all of the N'Kobe Deans that have come through Georgia, they don't have that dude that's getting pressure on the quarterback this year. And this is a game where it could absolutely bite him. Now, I think the Alabama game was a canon event for him that just kind of turned the season around and got them a bit more focused. They've been playing good football. But, Drew, this is a prime opportunity for your Rebels to go into Athens and get a program-defining win.
Yeah, I just don't really know what I think about Ole Miss or Georgia at this point. Georgia's only loss is at home against Alabama. Ole Miss's best signature win so far is at home versus LSU. LSU, a team that's losing right now to Vanderbilt on the road. Vanderbilt is good, but, you hold LSU to a higher standard than that. It's no doubt a down season for LSU so far. So I don't really know. I feel like if you tell me at 9 o'clock to make an opinion about Ole Miss, 9 o'clock p.m. tonight, I can make a definitive opinion about Ole Miss. I could also make a definitive opinion about Georgia at 9 o'clock tonight. However, it is week 9, and we're still kind of up in the air because of the parity in the SEC and how hard it is to make a definitive statement about anybody. So all that being said, Sanford Stadium, don't care. Don't care. Sanford Stadium, Sanford is Sun. It's all a junkyard today. It's a big one, Elizabeth. Ole Miss on top.
Drew, I'm going to toot Ole Miss's horn real quick.
Please do.
Well, what I'm worried about with Georgia tonight is they're not going to be able to sub.
They're playing Ole Miss.
Well, that too. They're not going to be able to sub the way Lane Kiffin likes to run his offense. And if you don't have the right personnel, because Ole Miss can change what plays they run with any personnel out on the field. And if Ole Miss is going to win this ball game in Sanford Stadium, they're going to have to keep Georgia from subbing, and Lane Kiffin is a master at doing that with his offensive schematics.
Yeah, and so big game tonight in the SEC, not only SEC implications, but playoff implications. Georgia can ill afford a second loss. Ole Miss can still recover from one loss, and your one loss being Georgia, but this is a massive playoff implication game in Athens. We'll pick the game here in a few minutes. Drew's already let you know what he thinks about it, but we'll pick the game here in a few minutes. Another game that's going on for one of the teams that we root for, we being me, Mississippi State travels to Florida for their homecoming. We're wearing the interlocking MSU on the helmet. It's going to be looking crispy tonight against the Florida Gators. Kicks off at 3:15. Billy Napier is essentially a lame duck coach. He is no longer coaching for his job. If you believe USA Today, On 3, and basically everybody that covers college football, Billy Napier is getting fired regardless of the outcome. So why not send him out with a bang? You know, Mississippi State had a bye week to get healthy. We're getting Isaac Smith back, Albert Reese back. We're still a bit depleted on the offensive line, but we have the 27th ranked secondary in the country against a turnover-prone generational talent, as some folks have said, DJ Lagway tonight in the Swamp. I think this is a prime opportunity for Mississippi State to make a statement and send Billy Napier packing the way of Ron Zook back in the day.
You know what? As a fan of chaos, what would be funny is, despite all of these rumors and sourced rumors, they're not just message board fodder here, but sourced rumors that win or loss, Billy Napier gets fired tonight. What would be hilarious is if they just hang 70 on Mississippi State and just see, like, okay, you really want to fire me? Now fire me after I get an SEC win by 70.
It doesn't matter. The Florida faithful have soured on Coach Napier, and he is good as done.
As they should have. This game doesn't, I think Mississippi State can win it, but I do think this is a game where it's going to be a funny situation tomorrow where Florida does win it and they still can. Billy Napier. Like I said, you mentioned DJ Lagway being a generational talent athletically, but an IQ of 5. So that's going to be what wins Mississippi State this game. I think it's going to be a really low-scoring game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, these are two good defenses. Again, we have the 27th ranked secondary in the country. Florida rushes the quarterback extremely well. Their secondary is good. I do think this is going to come down to turnovers. I was at that 3-2 game against Auburn. It was the most abysmal sporting event I've ever been to in my entire life. But we do have the third Saturday in October. Tonight, Tennessee travels to Tuscaloosa in a big rivalry game, a cigar game. Are the cigars going to be puffing orange, or are they going to be crimson tonight? I think that
– Are we going to have a new pope?
We're going to have a new pope from Tennessee. Yeah, that's it. I did see a video this week where some guy was at the Vatican, and he said, you know, you have consumed more Chicago hot dogs than any other pope in the history of the Catholic Church combined. And the Pope said, absolutely.
That's jeez, man. Yeah. That is hilarious. The loser of this game is still alive in the college football playoff race. The winner, though, gives themselves a ton of wiggle room down the stretch. Tennessee, they have not won since 2003 in a 5 overtime thriller in that game. Two of the big keys in this game for me, Ty Simpson is 16-1 touchdown to interception ratio this year. That one interception came in a 4th down and 1 situation where he had to force the ball against Vanderbilt. And then you look at it, Jam Miller is going to be needed tonight to run the football. If he's out, that's going to put a lot more pressure on the backups. But when he plays and the other guys come in, they have a little bit more, pep in their step, in my opinion. Here's the other big key for me, Rusty. Tennessee's turnover game is good on defense, but it's also horrendous on offense. They have forced 11 this year, and they have given up 9. A lot of that is to Joey Aguilar. And as in a lot of
his arm a bit too much.
Yeah, as in a lot of football games, the winner of the turnover battle is going to win this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Alabama in this game. I think they win. I think they cover. And most of that is because I could not be higher on Ty Simpson. I was high going into the season. I did not just throw out the baby with the bathwater when they lost to Florida State, but because at that time I thought Florida State was going to be really good. Turns out they're not, but I'm still here. They win a road game in Georgia, end a 30-game winning streak, a home winning streak for Georgia. I think Ty Simpson is made up of the right stuff, and he's got the talent, the arm talent, to back it up. I'm a big fan, and you pair that with Tennessee's lack of execution on the back end. I think Ty Simpson has a big game. I don't necessarily think Jam Miller is the end-all, be-all in this game. I think Ty Simpson could win this game on his own.
Not the end-all, be-all, but needed.
But he's probable for today's game. Likely going to play. He's a bit banged up, but you saw what happened in this Alabama offense when Jam Miller came back against Georgia. They started clicking, and they have not checked up. Tennessee is the number 1 scoring team in the country. They are scoring more points than anybody else in the entire country, and I look for them to keep it close today, but we'll make our picks after the final commercial break. Last game of the day, it is the 20th anniversary of the Bush Tush Push. USC travels.
That sounds dirty.
Yeah,
That sounds
be
very
really
dirty.
careful.
That
Have to be
sounds very dirty.
careful how you
Let's
say
just
that.
call it the Bush push.
The Bush
Yeah.
push.
There you go.
The Bush push is 20th anniversary. Notre Dame has been getting better, but USC's offense has been electric. Their quarterback has been the prototypical Lincoln Riley quarterback he's been looking for forever at USC. Caleb Williams was great in college. I'm not discounting that. But it feels like this is a USC team that if they're ever going to make a statement, today's the day. This is a playoff elimination
Yes.
game. The loser of this game is done.
I believe that. I believe that the winner of this game moves up to Notre Dame's spot. If it's Notre Dame, they get to keep it.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is very highly favored by the AP poll. It's something that we've learned over the years that Notre Dame is just favored. They are looked down on highly by the committee and by the AP poll. And right or wrong, that's not the conversation right now. I do think that if USC wins, they flip spots with Notre Dame. I'm a big fan of Jordan Mailata. On the $2 Sports Show yesterday, I picked USC to cover. I don't think that I've seen anything that would change my mind on that. So I'm a big fan of USC in this game. You're getting about 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, so
we'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah, so I'll take USC.
I like USC in this game. I like both. This game, apart from having one of the best uniform matchups in the history of sports.
Yes.
You have some
Very
words
much.
that were exchanged over the summer between Marcus Freeman and Lincoln Riley that are also going to be taken into account.
For sure.
Lincoln Riley did not want to play this game. He said it shouldn't be a staple on our schedule. Marcus Freeman came out and said about a day later, says, no, we need this game. It's one of the best rivalries in college football. So there's both coaches out for blood a little bit. There's a little bit of bitterness. This will be
Lincoln
a game.
Riley is a
Can I
known
comment
big
on
game
that?
Yeah.
dunker,
Hey,
though.
One
No,
second.
let me
One second.
comment on
One
that.
second.
Yeah.
I think this is a game that we could have an electric shootout style game that scores well into the 50s or 60s.
Notre Dame needs this game more than USC needs this
Yes,
game.
for sure,
Because
because they
Notre
won't
Dame
man
is
up
not
and
in
play
the
a conference.
conference.
No, they're not.
They
So
won't man up
all,
and join a conference.
all USC has to do is win their conference.
True.
And the Big Ten, in the Big Ten, USC, all they have to do is win their conference. Notre Dame cannot put together a reasonable schedule if USC and Miami and all these teams decide to, like, you know what, screw you, we're out.
We're not playing.
We can't.
Exactly.
It's the reason why Ole Miss doesn't play Memphis anymore.
Yeah.
There is nothing for Ole Miss to gain from that, and only something to lose.
You don't get Kenny in on this conversation.
Yeah, exactly. If you're
Yeah,
scared,
the
say
Memphis
you're
fans
scared.
can call us pansies and all they want to, but there is literally nothing for Ole Miss to win by beating Memphis, and everything for Ole Miss to lose.
You heard
It'll
it
be a
here
Lots game
first.
this year.
Ole Miss is afraid of the Memphis Tigers. That's what I just heard. Shout out to Kenny and the Memphis Tigers who take on UAB today. But after the commercial break, we're going to make our picks against the FanDuel spread.
On the
FanDuel,
commercial break, me and
official-
King Meeks are going to fight.
official odds provider of Bluff City Media, FanDuel.com. After this, we're picking against the FanDuel spread.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
Did you know Jake LaRavia, our old friend Jake LaRavia,
Yes.
threw out the first pitch at a Dodgers game? Boy, how times have changed for Jake LaRavia. He
Jake-
threw a pitch out at a Redbirds game once, and then and then didn't get any playing time, and then was just shipped off to Sacramento. Now he's playing for the Lakers and thrown out the first pitch at Chavez Ravine. Are you serious?
And he was the first call that they made
Yes.
when free agency came about. How about that? Hey, listen, I told you to tell you
for
that
Jake.
Jake. I told you Jake was going to be a player in this game.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Also, I need to say this to Arkansas fans. Please don't advocate for Bobby Petrino to get that job back. Have some damn self-respect.
They already are. That's
Respect for yourself, brother. Please. I've read so many reports. I've talked to some people behind the scenes, and it's a real thing.
It is.
It's very
It has
possible.
momentum.
Look outside. Look outside before you even think about hiring Bobby Petrino. But I'm scared they're just gonna hop right back into the after, a decade ago, this guy was making a mockery.
Yeah.
Mockery of your program. I just think you need to have a little more self-respect in that. But hey, winning cures all, to be honest. So,
especially when you got a coach that's just a short drive down I-40 that you can come calling on. But I'll leave that alone. There's too much momentum. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's too much momentum for Bobby Petrino to get that job. And there's rumors of 25-30 mil in the NIL fund. The coffers are going to cough up to make his Arkansas team good again. I guess we'll see.
Tune into the 2 Buck Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to College Football Saturdays. Well, I have breaking news where it is confirmed that the Ole Miss Rebels are the equivalent of the devil.
No.
Ole Miss's official account
that's
tweeted out that the Rebels went down to Georgia. They were looking for a game to win. They were fired up, full of pride and grit. If that's not the devil, I don't know what is.
That is 100% the devil. That's exactly what they're claiming it. Wait, so if they win, do they sell their soul tonight?
I think they already have.
No, I think Lil Johnny won that fiddle of gold.
So Georgia's, you heard it here first. Ole Miss is the devil. Georgia's getting a big win tonight. But we are picking against the FanDuel spread. FanDuel, the official odds provider of Bluff City Media. And the first game we are picking is said Ole Miss at Georgia. Georgia opens as a 7.5-point home favorite on FanDuel. You're home for college football betting this fall. Jared, I'll start with you. I'll get my pick, and we'll let Uncle Buck have a few minutes at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I talked myself into it before the show. I'm going to stick to my guns because I don't like changing up last minute. I did take Georgia minus 7.5.
Yeah, same. I think that – you took Georgia 7.5?
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow. I guess I didn't read that right. I actually took
your
Ole
mind.
Miss.
No, I didn't. I texted y'all yesterday. That was Georgia 7.5.
He did.
I don't have a phone.
I took Ole Miss plus 7.5. I think Georgia's going to win, but I think that Ole Miss can cover. I think this is going to be a great football game. 2 big offenses. It's whose defense can make the plays. I hope you take the over, and I'm taking Ole Miss plus 7.5.
Yeah, so I don't know really where to stand on this. I hinted on it earlier. It's like I think both of these teams it's kind of moving a week for both of these teams. This matchup is, I think, teams that could possibly be in the same tier, and I don't really know where to move with it here. So I took Ole Miss to cover. I think 7.5 is too much of a spread.
That's a big number
for teams that in my opinion, are in the same tier. Who wins? I don't know. I do think the margin will be closer than 7.5. And on Monday's 2 Buck Sports Show, we will either
between Sunday nights.
And this is another thing too. Is like if you look at who needs it more, Georgia definitely needs this game more.
Yeah,
Georgia needs to beat Ole Miss more than anything in the world right now. Ole Miss currently undefeated. If you beat Georgia and then you win or lose either way against Oklahoma next week in Norman, the rest of the schedule looks pretty gettable. And so,
good. Sorry, knowing the college football playoff committee, if Ole Miss does lose this game, how far do they drop when that first poll comes out in the first or the last?
Well, Georgia's 9, so I don't know that I would really.
I wouldn't drop out of the top.
No, I wouldn't drop out of the top 10.
I would almost expect Ole Miss to fall to 9.
Yeah,
that would be a
flip
those spots. In the swamp, I guess it's still not as intimidating as it once was. But Mississippi State travels to Gainesville and
swamp with no ogre.
That's it. It's more like a
there is an
pad.
ogre showing up into into Gainesville tonight.
Yeah, Jeff Levy, right? But Mississippi State travels
I'm just going to talk about the standard fan of Mississippi State.
Florida's a 9.5-point home favorite on FanDuel.com. Drew, who are you taking in this game?
Florida. What are you talking about?
9.5 is a big number.
I do think that 9.5 is a big number, but it's on the road, and I do believe that Florida could kind of take the air out of the ball if they want to. The defense is not something that it's not something to be laughed at. Florida's defense is the shining diamond in the Florida pretty mediocre crown, for the season. The only thing you got to worry about, and the only thing that I worry about is somebody that's willing to take Florida, is that they have just totally given up. But this is the first time that they've said they're firing Billy Napier.
Yeah.
And what happened last year when they said they were going to fire Billy Napier? They responded and won out and ended the season, I believe, as a top 25 team.
They went 4-1 in their last 5.
Yeah, because DJ Lagway looked like a competent quarterback. We'll see what it looks like tonight. Jared, who you got?
I got Mississippi State plus 9.5. I think Florida wins, but like I said earlier, I think this is a low-scoring game with 2 good defenses. But I think State keeps it close or maybe even a back-end cover in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I like plus 9.5.
Haters, the lot of them. I think Mississippi State covers. I think we have a real chance to win. Yes, we're banged up. No Fluff Bothwell. We're missing our right tackle and Smith and Steen. But we got Isaac Smith coming back. We've got Albert Reese coming back tonight. This feels like a game that we can go get on the road. Florida is an absolute defeated school. Their coach is getting fired, regardless if you believe the reports from USA Today, On3, and basically everybody who covers the sport, like I said earlier. So what do they have to lose, right? Or what do they have to prove, right? I feel like this is a game they can go out and they can lay an absolute egg tonight. I think that Mississippi State covers. I think they can win this game and be the first big SEC win for Jeff Lebby in his tenure in Spartanburg.
I'm giving you one more chance because last time I tailed a Mississippi State plus line, they got blown out by almost 30.
I mean, I get it. And that was because of injuries. We were beat up, banged up, and we hung with A&M until the third quarter when our defense got
possibly
gassed.
because they suck.
You talk about suck. DJ Lagway tonight is going to have multiple interceptions. You heard it here first. Multiple interceptions. Kelly Jones is going to eat his lunch tonight. Generational talent is going to have generational struggles.
It's really hard to buy into your point of view because I do try to listen and I try to take information from people who do pay close attention to Mississippi State. However, when you were just dissecting that game, all you talked about was injuries and on the Mississippi State front.
Yeah, and then we're getting guys back off for our bye week. A, B, we're the 27th ranked secondary in the country with the number one cover percentage cornerback in the NCAA in Kelly Jones. Kelly Jones Allen is a real place. He's averaging the least amount of completion percentage when targeted. Kelly Jones has a big night tonight. DJ Lagway has a crooked number in the interception column. Dogs cover and dogs win.
I'm just going to say, if DJ Lagway has an explosive number tonight with a crooked number of touchdowns and a 0 in the interception, don't show up to the show on Monday.
I will absolutely show up because I ain't scared. Tennessee travels to Tuscaloosa as an 8.5-point road dog. This is the third Saturday in October, finally back on the third Saturday in October. Another playoff implication game where Tennessee needs this win to stay alive, as does Alabama. This feels like a big, big game for them. Look, I think Alabama is the better team. I think they're more talented from top to bottom. I think their defense is better. I think they can control the football better. But I think Tennessee is going to score a lot of points today. And it's going to take a lot of points from Alabama to win. I think Alabama wins, but I think Tennessee covers. I've got the game somewhere around like 41-38, 40-36, like a 3 to 5 point game. I don't think Tennessee has enough to win, but I think they have enough to keep it close, Jared.
I think we have seen enough from Alabama's defense. I took Bama minus 8.5. There's a lot of, I guess, one-sided bad blood in this situation. A lot of Tennessee fans are harping on Simpson for not picking Tennessee when he grew up in that Knoxville area, Chattanooga, before moving over to Martin. And Ty Simpson, he's one of the most just business as usual type people. And so I think Ty Simpson is coming out to prove a point. I do think Tennessee scores a lot, but I think Bama is right there with them, winning by 10 or more. But I do think that Bama does win and does cover minus 8.5.
Speaking of a big win, Vanderbilt just absolutely slams the door on LSU, scoring on first and goal from the LSU 1 to put this thing basically out of reach with 2 minutes to go. Diego Papabia getting it, and we're having a real conversation in the year of our Lord 2025 about the Vanderbilt Commodores in the playoff conversation.
Never say
this
never,
is a
man.
massive win. This is huge.
Yeah, it's I couldn't feel better for Vanderbilt.
Absolutely.
It is the guy that you just
you
was a little nerdy in high school, and it's like, oh well, he figured it out in his 30s.
Yeah, and you root for Clark Lee because he's a Vanderbilt guy. He bleeds black and gold. Graduated from there, loves that university. If he's smart, he'll stay there forever. And it's just you feel good for him to get a win like this.
And just a correction, real quick: Vanderbilt hasn't punched it in yet.
Oh, okay.
They are. I
got bad information from one of my co-hosts here.
No, I pointed to the screen. You didn't look. That's your fault.
Who are you taking in the Alabama-Tennessee game?
Listen, I think Alabama wins. I think Alabama covers.
Yeah,
I think that they've got a really good team. I think that the real story of the show here is going to be Ty Simpson versus that Tennessee secondary, and the Tennessee secondary is the weakest part of their team. So I think Alabama wins. I think Alabama covers at home in Bryant-Denny Stadium tonight.
Yeah, I think the only way Tennessee can keep it close, and I'm banking on them to do this, is
they're
get
taking
pressure
these.
on Ty Simpson.
We've also seen a bad Tennessee defense step up in times of need. I know 2 years ago when they when the interception got called back due to a late pass interference flag, and that was late in the game, that would have sealed the game for Tennessee. I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee does make a big play in crunch time, but like I said,
and this hadn't been a blowout in a long time. This game's typically close, and 8.5 feels like a big number. But speaking of big numbers, last game we're picking today, USC travels to South Bend. Notre Dame was a 9.5-point home favorite.
Save the worst for last.
That's it. I think Notre Dame just blows out USC. I don't buy Lincoln Riley in big games until I see it. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know that he's going to show up. I think Notre Dame wins this game comfortably by 2 touchdowns. I'm taking the Irish minus 9.5.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of USC on this game. I think that when you're talking about what means more right now, I think that Lincoln Riley needs a signature win at USC. I think Jordan Maiava is good. I think their defense is playing better than they've ever played in the Lincoln Riley era at USC, and they're scoring points. So I am going to take USC to cover. It is 7.5?
9.5.
9.5. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm taking USC to cover that game. I don't care who
Real
wins
quick.
it.
Yeah.
USC will cover.
Real quick, this is Vanderbilt's first win against LSU since 1990. The first time they've been 6-1 since 1980. Commodores get a big win at home today.
Huge win, and they got to kneel it down. They didn't even have to punch it in to slam the door shut. They got to kneel it down. Back to the USC Notre Dame game. I think this is a game that Notre Dame is in control of, not necessarily a blowout. I did take USC to cover plus 9.5, but I think this is one where Notre Dame it's going back and forth between one possession, two possession. I think at the end of the game, USC is going to get one across the board to kind of give them one last hope of life and then kind of fail on an onside kick or trying to get the ball back, a timeout situation style. I think this game's close, but I think it's one that Notre Dame has in control the entire way that USC never really gets to have a chance in.
There you go. We've got yet another elimination moving Saturday in college football. Games that are playoff eliminators. Some games of note. Again, Vanderbilt just getting the big win. Oklahoma up 24-7 at the end of the third quarter over South Carolina. Georgia Tech up 27-10 over Duke. Michigan and Washington going final 24-7. But that's going to do it for this
Who
week's
won that game?
Michigan. Michigan won 24-7. That's going to do it for this week's College Football Saturdays. I appreciate Grind City Brewing being such a gracious host with good cold beer, a food truck, beautiful weather, a little bit windy, but folks are showing up to watch the afternoon game. So y'all come out and hang out at Grind City Brewing. You're home for college football. Jared, I appreciate you being here,
Yes,
buddy.
sir, man. It's always great to come down here. I've enjoyed it and looking forward to the next one. It's we're getting into crunch time of college football, which gives us some of the best games. Early season, yes, it has hype because football's back. There are some good games, but man, you're getting into these ranked games that mean a lot for conference and playoff hopes. I love it. Best time of the year for football, man. Let's just keep on having some good games.
Drew, thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, man. Glad to be here on Black Friday for the Tennessee Volunteers. Head baseball coach leaves to take an MLB job. They're going to
Wow,
lose
dude.
by over
Yep.
10 to Alabama tonight.
It's going to be a bad day for
Vols.
Tennessee Day.
It's a bad day for the Tennessee Vols. More on the Tony Vitello to the San Francisco Giants on the $2 Sports Show on Monday. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all come on out and hang out with us. We'll be back November the 1st. It's the Memphis Hot Wing Festival. It's our next show. Big college football Saturday that day. Y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend, and we will see y'all next time.